Hello everybody, welcome back to the Herefordshire Gardener channel. My name's Aaron. In this video today I'm going to be reviewing this beautiful creamy yellow rose to the side of me. This is Charlotte's Rose. I bought this from Styles Roses back in the end of 2023, thinking that this was the David Austin Charlotte Rose released in the mid-90s, but this is a different rose, but equally beautiful. And I do really love this happy accident, so stick around for the review of this rose. And as usual, give the video a thumbs up if you're enjoying the content, and hit the subscribe button so you don't miss any future videos. Thanks again for watching. So my Charlotte's Rose for now is being housed in the fruit cage. This is, if you remember, where the new Victorian greenhouse is going to be going. So if I take you one through, we'll have a quick look at that rose. That's my second Munstead wood in front of us there. Loads of new canes coming out the front of that, which is amazing. It's loving life. Let's have a look at Charlotte's Rose. So here she is. She's the first peachy yellow one just right in front of us. This is really a wonderful rose. I've got to be honest, quite surprised by this one. If you're interested, that's Louise Odier at the side of her. I think that pink and yellow contrast really nicely together. So Charlotte's Rose, this one, not a massive shrub. She'll grow to around about maybe 2 to 3 feet high, maybe a little bit taller if you don't prune her as hard. And she'll grow about 2.5, 3 feet wide. But stunning rose, as I said, bought by complete accident. Always on a quest to find retired varieties. Charlotte is the name of my niece, so quite a special name for me personally. But yeah, as I said, I bought this one from Styles Roses at the end of 2023. It came as a bare root, and one of the things that I did notice straight away were the thorns on this rose. This rose really has the most large, sharpest, let me just see if I can get that to focus without stabbing myself. I mean, look at those, they are absolutely ferocious. And I knew straight away, I thought, well, this doesn't look like David Austin's Charlotte Rose. This one's actually Charlotte's Rose, so it does have an S at the end. Nevertheless, obviously in 2024 it bloomed for the first time. Quite a lot of aphids this year. If you see aphids like this, just knock them off. You don't need to use any sprays. They won't cause any damage and they won't come back on the plant if you look. I don't mind showing you guys these things. I think you need to see. Just knock them off. And this is nothing to do with this variety per se. It's just they're on a lot of the roses in the garden. Do my best to just keep on top of them. I am seeing a lot of predatory insects now though, so I think they'll start catching up soon. But yeah, it's very easy, just knock them off and just check the underside of your leaves, look, because you'll get a few on there. So let's have a look at this rose then. So in terms of buds, lovely mid-green buds, as you can see. Please excuse my hands, been in the garden all day, so they are a little bit dirty. Lovely sort of mid-green buds. Nothing too distinguishing at that stage, although there is a lovely hit of red and yellow already in the early stages. And then they open up to these lovely, fresh looking yellow petals with a lovely blush of salmon pink in there. I think that looks rather special, to be honest, against this excellent dark green glossy foliage. Very healthy foliage, by the way. It's a very healthy rose. If we then come on up, you can see the blooms. They're not gigantic, you know, they're not golden celebration huge, but nonetheless I love that detailing, a lovely marbling of that salmon pink in there. And as they open, that starts to fade. A reasonable petal count, I'd say medium. But what I really love about this rose is this coloration as it opens. So you get a lovely cup shape, so you can see that, quite a shallow cup, but beautiful buttery yellow on the outside with that hit of salmon pink in the middle, and visible stamens, lots of them in there, so very pollinator friendly. And as the blooms sort of mature even further, that salmon pink does disappear, and you get more of a very light creamy yellow. The petals relax even more, they open from the center. Those beautiful, look at those gorgeous golden stamens in there. Really, really pretty. But I love the relaxed look of this rose and the way that the light sort of bounces in and gives it a three-dimensional shape. It's absolutely stunning. And so you get the combination really of this salmon pink, darker yellow, and then this lovely sort of creamy yellow paling to very pale cream on the very outer edge of the petals. I just love the way that catches the light. It's very floriferous. The bloom spikes tend to come up in clusters of 7 or 8. You can see I've deaded quite a few off of this already. They last pretty long as well on the shrub. And you can see this has only been growing for me for 2 years. As a bare root in 2023. Last year it put on some amazing blooms. But this year it's gone overdrive. It's covered. There's so many more to come out. Repeat bloomer, so you'll get loads of blooms all season long. And the really interesting thing about this rose, you see that lovely yellow there with the salmon pink. In the cooler months, so as we start approaching end of August, September and October, these blooms really pink out. And I remember seeing it last year and thinking, oh my God, what's that rose? You know, having forgotten that perhaps it was Charlotte's rose. And yeah, I couldn't believe it. It was like a Shropshire lad pink. It was gorgeous with the apricots and the yellows. So it takes on almost a completely different identity in the cooler months, which I really like because, you know, you're getting more for your money, more interest. As I mentioned earlier, the foliage, very healthy. I think it complements the colour of the blooms fabulously well. You've got this lovely hit of red, salmon pink, creamy yellows, a bit like Vanessa Bell. Gorgeous. And then this healthy, glossy green foliage. Nice dark green as well it is. And then that classic olive green underside. Really, really beautiful. That's an old dead ant on that leaf. Yeah, let's have a look at it from this side. And then I'm going to give you a fragrance review because this rose absolutely packs when it comes to fragrance. That was the biggest surprise for me, was the fragrance, as well as that gorgeous sort of orangey salmon pink that you can see in the middle as they first open. So let's do a smell test. Oh my God, that rose smells so beautiful. It's strong. It's a honey note, sweet. There's pear in there. I'd say there's a bit of orange. And there's definitely myrrh fragrance in there as well. It's a really warm, sweet smell. It's absolutely, honestly, it's beautiful. I don't think any of my David Austins smell like this rose, and I've got quite a lot. This is a very unusual fragrance. I don't know if there's like spice notes in there. It's very, very sweet, and it's just delicious. I have to have another smell. Definitely myrrh fragrance in that for sure. Sorry about the wind if it's messing with the sound quality. But yeah, look, this is the same blooms as they're opening. So before that salmon pink comes out, we've just got almost like a Graham Thomas yellow in there. Lovely shaped petals though, wouldn't you agree? They're sort of slightly serrated to the edge. And as they get larger, those serrations do actually, you know, cause the edge of the petal to slightly undulate. I think it adds to the effect of the bloom. This one's about to go over, you can see. But there's always new blooms ready to come on in. I'm gonna have to go over this one in a moment though with my hands just to check for aphids, because I'm spotting quite a few. They don't cause any damage if you get to them before you get a breakout. Let's just appreciate this bloom a little bit more. Gorgeous. Absolutely beautiful. I wish you could smell these blooms. They smell absolutely fantastic. Again, the only drawback on this rose for me personally is the thorns. They're beautiful, don't get me wrong, and they sort of mirror the blush red on the buds. If you look, it's very similar, but they are incredibly large and they're backwards pointing, and she has bit me a few times in the past. Yeah, very ferocious on the thorn count. But then she's not an arching shrub. She has lovely upright canes. She makes an excellent cut flower that lasts long in the vase. And obviously you've got these lovely blooms and the fragrance. So, you know, great in the garden, but also great in the house. You can dethorn if you want, if you're making cut flowers. But because she's not dangling everywhere, I don't think the thorns matter so much because you can keep her contained. So she would be excellent on a patio, in a pot. She does really well in this pot, and it's not the biggest one. It's only about 30 centimetre diameter. She's been in that since I had her. That's not a forever pot, it's just until I find a space in this kitchen garden where she's going to go. But yeah, the fragrance, oh, alone is just wonderful. So that is Charlotte's Rose, Charlotte's with an S. I purchased her from Style Roses, which is a UK based rose producer. And yeah, I can't recommend her more. Happy accident, as I said. I was aiming to get Charlotte Rose from David Austin, which I still haven't got yet. But I'm very happy with this purchase. And actually, do you know what? I don't think I'd be without this rose moving forward. For all of the reasons that I've just mentioned to you, it really is a fantastic rose. If you ever get a chance to sample this one, check her out, see what you think, see if you agree with the review video. Thanks again for watching. I hope you've enjoyed. Take care. Bye bye.